Hardware is something most engineers and designers have to work with at some point in their designs. It's often more than just a couple pieces, and each piece usually takes a couple mates to locate within the assembly. Now, one little shortcut you can use is something called Multiple Mate Mode. You can activate it by clicking the mate icon and then pressing the Multiple Mate Mode icon here. This mode lets you select a common reference, such as a hole, and the rest of the selections will be made concentric. This saves a little time, but I'd still have to make the flat faces coincident. And if there are a lot of holes that need this hardware stack up, this would still leave quite a few mates to add. Instead of mating each piece of hardware in this stack up to each hole, how about instead making the stack up its own assembly? That way each stack up would only need to be mated once. Here's a quick tip to add these to a new assembly. I can right-click on the top of the assembly tree and select Insert New Subassembly. This adds an empty subassembly with its own reference planes and origin, but no components. To add the hardware, I can select it by holding down the Control button, and all I have to do is drag them into the empty subassembly. This demotes them from the main assembly and places them in their own subassembly. I can right-click and save this as its own external assembly file, but for now, I'll just open it in its own window. I'll again use Multiple Mate Mode and make them all concentric. I'll finish by making the flat faces coincident. At this point, I'll press Save and return to the main assembly. With the hardware all mated together in its own subassembly, all I have to do is mate the entire stack up with each hole. In case you're not familiar with Smart Mates, another time saver here is that you can hold down the Alt key, then select the circular edge here, and simply drag it over the edge of the hole. You'll see it snap into place, and when I release my mouse button, the Smart Mate technique adds both the concentric and coincident mates needed to locate the entire stack up. With all of the hardware added in the assembly, it makes drawing creation easy. If for any reason you want to put the hardware and their corresponding mates back into the main assembly, all you have to do is right-click and select Dissolve Subassembly. Thank you. This has been a SolidWorks time saver.